Good morning. Hello, it's Deanna Cochran, and I'm an RN and an end-of-life doula mentor and trainer. And I'm one of the people out there who have been talking about this for many years, since 2005, before there was a so-called movement, right? And now there is, we have really a dying well movement that's happening. Hi, Lynn. Good morning. Um, we've got some coffee talk going on today. So we have a dying well movement. Isn't that so? Hi, Denise. A dying well movement where death doulas, end-of-life doulas were like a sub piece of that, a subculture. Good morning. It's not just all about the end-of-life doula. So it's really a dying well. We were preceded by the home funeral guides. There's the thanatology crowd at ADEC. There's the birth doulas that really were the precursor, predated us. They laid a lot of groundwork for the death doulas. Death Cafe, all the talk about death platforms. There's a lot of people right now just writing a bunch of articles giving a history that's not really accurate. I watched it myself happen from 2005. I talked to the people that they're reporting about. I watched the organizations as they came forward, and a lot of people, they have nothing to do with end-of-life doulas, nothing. They have their own piece of the world that they're really passionate about, just like us. We're just a part of this whole, this dying well, right? And so what I want to share about this is I want to get a little deeper, and that is the end-of-life doula and hospice. I want to get in a little bit about that connection. So what we really need to be mindful of is that this is new for hospices and healthcare to hear about these end-of-life doulas coming onto the scene. Who are they? And a lot of people feel happy that we're here, and there are people that are suspicious about why we're here and who we are. Doula can sound like a ghoulish word, ghoulish, however you say it, ghoulish word. People are suspicious of anybody who wants to earn a living doing anything that has to do with the dying, because we've been so burned by the funeral industry, right? People are very upset, and rightly so, when anybody is taken advantage of who's in a vulnerable position. So people are right to wonder who we are. Now, they haven't been in my shoes, in my position, where I started out just fumbling around, a hospice nurse, seeing how my mother's dying would have been so different had she not had me. She was a person who did not want hospice. She was young. She was 61. It took her 5 weeks to die from diagnosis to death. We didn't know she was going to die that quickly. We thought it could be months. We thought it could be a couple of years. We were making those kinds of plans, and well, life happens, and she died 5 weeks into it. Without me being there, we would have not had the awareness of palliative care, which at the time, remember in 2005, hello, Jaburu, in 2005, palliative care prior to hospice wasn't even talked about. Nobody was talking about palliative care prior, pre-hospice palliative care. It was new on the scene around 2000 to 2006. There was a huge growth in the awareness of it, in hospitals were setting up palliative care programs, pre-hospice, and they were even calling it back then, pre-hospice palliative care. They don't even say that anymore. What they say now is palliative care, and we're supposed to be savvy enough, everybody, to understand that palliative care has nothing to do with hospice, except that hospice uses palliative care as their sole method of care. This all has a point, I promise. I have to touch on a few different things to get where I'm going. So we have a lot of different factions developing all around the same time, like popcorn. Home funeral guides, Death Cafe, Death Over Dinner, Conversation Project, ADEC, Home Funeral Alliance, Funeral Consumer Alliance. We have all kinds of end-of-life doulas, death midwives, soul midwives. We have all over the Western world, okay? This isn't happening in underdeveloped countries because they're dealing with death every single day, and it's in their face, and they know that you die. There's no illusions in the more underdeveloped countries. They're dying everywhere. Maybe they wouldn't have to if they had the medicines and the treatments that we had. But in the Western world, there's an entitlement that has developed, and maybe it's not our fault either. People want to live. Every cell of our body, we want to live mostly. The ones who are suicidal, no, they don't. That's a different thing. But I'm talking about most people who are not suicidal, who they will do anything to live. That's just how we're wired. So when medical comes up with all these marvels that will keep us alive, where used to we would die, young people used to die, we'll do anything to save our young people. We don't accept that 3-month-old children die. We don't accept that a 10-year-old should die. So we'll do anything to keep them alive, right? So this modern marvels has put it in our head, and we're coming back, for the pendulum's coming back, that we have this right, not this right, but that we can. It's more about we can. To say I'm entitled and have a right, there's a judgment to that, a lot of like a dark judgment, but it's not. It's a, of course we want to live. Most people want to live at all costs. I've had people tell me, even in my hospice nursing days, if my eyelid can go up, I want to stay here, right? And there's a lot of people that don't understand that. There's a lot of people that say, well, gosh, if all I can do is lift my eyelid, I don't want to be here. Okay, so you have rights now, and you don't have to. But the people that do, let's not shame them, right? So we have so many people here that are realizing, oh my goodness, I'm not going to live forever. Even though modern medicine can help me live forever, I'm seeing with my own eyes, watching with my heart and eyes and spirit, and I'm seeing my family members trying to live at all costs. Oh my goodness, this isn't the way to die. Wow, there will come a day when my body's going to go ahead and die, no matter what medicine wants to do with it, to try to keep it here. And I realize the suffering that's happening in me right now is because I keep fighting my death. I was watching on the news, who wasn't, about the latest firefighter who died with cancer from the devastation from the 911 and all of that just breaks your heart. Do you understand and see how hard he tried to live? Do you see it? Of course he did. He was young. He was a hero. He wanted to live. He had a lot to live for. Look at all that love and connection those firefighters have together, because people have forgotten them. And they risk their lives, not only that day and that week and that month, but for the years following 9/11, they're dying because of how they stepped in for us. Do you see how hard he wanted to live? Most people are like that. So for us to waltz in and go, oh, you should accept your death, it's sacred, and let's go ahead and write a legacy project along the way, and let's do your vigil plan, because we know you're going to die, and you should accept this now. Now, of course, it's not that flippant, but it really is, isn't it? Most people will never do a legacy. It's hype, y'all. A lot of it is hype. We can have a structure, but let's take it back a minute and let's go. People want to share their stories. Yes, they do. That's true. But we don't become pushers for a legacy project. What we do is we show up at the scene open to hear the story. Can you imagine giving someone at the end of life one more thing to do? Now they got to create a legacy project? Okay, some people are going to love that, and they're going to run right, because there's the doers and they want to do something. And so if you've got a doer and they want to do something, and story and the meaning and collection of it is going to help them thrive. Yes, we have a tool to help them gather all of that for the family heirloom. But if you have a family where that's going to just be a burden, don't run by your template of, okay, now legacy time. Please, right? I want us all to back up a minute. Back up. And I don't want there to be this pressure on people. What we're doing is good work. We're doing good work to remove trauma from dying, to say we're here for you. We're here to help you and guide. We're here to help listen. We're here to help with practical matters. We're here to help with planning. We're here to help in any way possible process what's happening, to make sure that you're connected with hospice and the resources in your town, to make sure if there's anything we can do to facilitate any kind of understanding and forgiveness and peace, to bring soothing to a tired soul. By the time we meet people, guys, you know they have been through it, usually. They have been through it. They have been poked and prodded and exhausted from the anxiety and the trauma and the drama of repeated hospitals. What's happening? Oh no, I'm dying. Oh, maybe I'm not. Oh yes, I am. I thought I was doing better. Oh no, I'm not. The grief of that. I'm not going to see my kid. I'm not going to see my grandkid. I have plans. I wanted to do this with my family. All of that is exhausting to go, am I not? Am I not? By the time we come onto the scene, do you see, we have no idea that whole realm. We have a small idea if we've seen it ourselves in our own family, but we never know what we're walking into. And so to project a plan of a beautiful, sacred dying full of acceptance on a family system is really, to me, brutal. It is. I hope you're not going to hate me for saying all this. When I came into hospice nursing, it was because I wanted to help relieve the anxiety of the time, and if there was anything I could do to make it better. Well, that has been superseded with in this movement, this grassroots movement, where now everything's got to be sacred. Now we got to do legacy. Now we've got to do jump through all these high hoops to make it a great death. That's just a lot of pressure that's just been added. And what is bringing me here today to say this is, I'm seeing that pressure in a lot of the doulas out in the different groups. I'm seeing pressure that people, like, we need you. If you have a desire in your heart to be part of the solution, and I'll get to this hospice thing in a second. If you have it in your heart, you know you're a person that does well in being there and companioning people through dying. We need you. But I don't want you hung up in your living room trying to figure out this new level of expertise that is not necessary right now. It's an added pressure to you as a doula, and it's an added pressure to the family. We need you on this level, the foundation level. The coming into the family fold, being curious, holding present, being present. Being present means I'm paying attention to you. I'm going to look I'm leaning in, I'm paying attention to you. I'm quiet because I got 2 ears, 1 mouth. The caregiver needs to empty their cup. The caregiver is full of grief, full of caregiving duties, full of trying to do the whole thing because they're watching their loved one go down and they can't participate as much anymore, but they're trying to keep them empowered. Like, most people get this. We're not teaching them anything new, guys. The awareness especially the training that I give, the awareness is they have their wisdom. Don't be so presumptuous to think we're coming in and adding anything that's valuable. Think of adding is pressure. Caregiver needs to dump. Caregiver needs to dump. Dying person's dying, their energy's waning. They're sad and they're grieving for their family who's grieving them. So yes, they need to talk to us in a different way. They're having their own losses, and they're big. But we're not adding anything to that. We're are being and showing up and holding a space for them to dump their cup, dump that burden, dump that what's inside of them. That's what we're bringing, a foundational place to be there. I see you. I see you. I feel you. I'm right here with you. I'm curious about how you are dealing with this, how I could help in any practical way. That's where we need to be: soothing, relieving anxiety, handling details. Okay. I just had to say that. I feel like there's this new pressure, and that's what's keeping a lot of doulas in their house and not out there helping people. Also having an awareness around doulas not coming out to serve people. Maybe don't call yourself a doula at first, call yourself a companion. We need to back it up a step, guys, so that way the people that have this desire to be helpful will have a segue to come out and be helpful. And you don't need to charge at first. Get out there and experience, develop your experience, learn your craft, learn this art. You're not going to take a weekend workshop and now be confident and be a doula. No way. There's an unexpected, that's a totally unrealistic expectation. There are people that have studied this for years in their work, and they're out here professionally working like I did. And I was scared when I came out in a professional private practice. And I had years of experience with hundreds and hundreds of families. Why wouldn't you be afraid? We don't have the organization. We're not working within an organization. You have to develop your own referral networks. You need to develop your own systems to help take care of these people and get them into the hospice setting, get them into a grounded, established nest, which hospice is. So let's all just relax a little bit. Get the pressure off ourselves. Get the pressure off of you. We don't need you to go out there and be super doulas, putting on the cape. I'm here. We don't need that. That's not what we need. We don't need super cape, Superman, super doulas. We need your heart. For end of life, we need your heart and your good common sense. And your willingness to soothe where you see soothing, your willingness to help, your being present reduces the anxiety. If you're in a room and you've noticed this, you know you're doing your job. That's your job. Your job is for everybody around you to go this. That's what they do when I'm around. They are relaxing. Their anxiety is going away because they know I have their back. Somebody is there that will help and be somebody. They don't have to be on edge figuring everything out. I have their back. I'm in their cell phone. They can call me anytime. That's, if we're going to add anything to the situation, we're adding a foundation. We're adding another avenue for relaxation. We're adding another where they can dump their cup. We're witnessing. Do you know that's the biggest thing they talk about on mental health, is that the psychotherapist, that the healing is about the witnessing. It's not about the therapist saying the right thing. It's really about the witnessing. And it's really about the relation, the energy between the people, not what the supposed doer, knower, expert said to the receiver. That's not where it's at. It's the energy between them, the love, the connection, the respect, the dignity. Me as the person coming in, holding the space of, you got this. What's in my mind, in my heart, when I'm transmitting there, head to head, heart to heart, spirit to spirit, what's in my vibe and my worldview, because this is what I've come to train myself in awareness to believe and to pass on verbally, or mostly not verbally, is you've got this. You can do this. I honor your path. I honor your journey. I love you. I know this is hard. I see you. Energetically, that's what I'm doing. Do you see the bridge that builds? Do you see the power, the empowerment that enables? That's what we're doing. Okay, so now the point of this video was to say about hospice, and that is this. I guess that's why I had to say all that, because actually what I just finished saying is why we are such an asset to hospice. Hospice is the care plan leader. We all get that, right? Hospice is the care plan leader. They have a lot on their plate. As a hospice nurse, oh boy, we're juggling plates. We're juggling everything. That hospice nurse is the leader of the team, the hub of the wheel. Well, the patient is, but you know what I'm saying. Everything falls on the hospice nurse as case manager to make sure everybody's doing their part, that the requests of the families are being met, that the medical care is being coordinated between whoever, doctors and whatever, that all treatments, the medications, the team, the social support, the transport, everything is being handled. They have a whole team, but the case manager, it falls on that person. So we have the social worker, the chaplain, they're all doing their part. The social worker is making sure everything, legal, documents, funeral planning, all that stuff, that's their main forte. And then the chaplain making sure spiritually that person's getting the kinds of connection, the spiritual companionship that they request. The chaplains are often finding leaders in the community that relate to this person. It's not just that they have to provide the care, but if it's somebody from another kind of faith tradition, they will spend their time looking for that kind of companionship and spiritual assistance. So they're not just doing it themselves, but they're also looking. So they're doing a lot. The CNA, the certified nursing assistant, is going out there 2 to 3, sometimes 5 days a week, sometimes 7. That's a sign of a very generous hospice, the more they allow their CNAs to be out there in the home. And they are really developing a close connection. They're intimately involved in their daily care. They're cleaning up around the bed and the house, and they're developing relationship with the people there in a very limited way. Hospice does not allow the CNAs to have many conversations with the family. But everybody has their role. Volunteers will come in if the family allows. Now, everybody has their roles, but the thing that is lacking in hospice, if they only knew that this is what we're here for, they're lacking time. So enter the doula now. The doula who has an expert end of life knowledge base. That's why y'all are taking these courses like of mine and other people. Ours happens to be a comprehensive, full knowledge base curriculum. Full. I have professional end of life hospice workers taking my course, and they love it. So it's about the fullness of every single thing you need to know as a person who accompanies the dying. Every doula needs to know that, not just a limited thing about legacy or a limited thing, do a guided visualization, or here's your little vigil plan. You need to know the full scope of what you're walking into. And all those tools are cool, but guess what the number one tool is? You, me. I'm the number one tool. I'm the number one tool. So we have a lot to say about that in the school. Do you know what I'm saying? So if you haven't been in my school with this intense focus on what's real and what's really needed, then I want you to get it wherever you get it. But hear my words and get this. You are the number one tool. And you need a full plate of what's happening right now from every level to be effective. And you can work your way up to that by starting out as a companion, right? So now you've got your way in. You don't have to have any experience to say, I'm a companion. I want to show love. I want to be here to help. If I can be of any of assistance, it would be an honor. I can give you 5 hours a week. I can give you 10 hours a week. I can give you 2 hours a day. You name your budget. This is your budget without money. You build up your experience. Maybe that's why people are so hesitant to get out there for their private practice, because they know they don't have experience. And who am I to get out there, serve a family with no experience? You're absolutely right. So in the beginning, freely give of yourself. Get to know what you're doing. Volunteer with hospice, volunteer with the hospital, with the nursing home. Get as much experience as you can. Let people see you in action as a doula, to see what doulas do. That's what's going to show people, right? So this combination between hospice and us, we are there as an adjunct. So we have this end-of-life expertise, a passion to be there. Now, guess what we can do? We can, what they call, reinforce their teachings. Let your hospices know, I have been training with so-and-so and so-and-so, or I've been the go-to person in my family for years. I've gotten this wisdom from my family, my community. I just so happened I was in the AIDS crisis and I walked with hundreds of people through their death. It doesn't matter how you got it. You don't need to just get it from a training program, but you need to get it somewhere. So you talk to the people and you tell them, I'm here for you. You get your experience. And once you've gotten some experience where you feel solid, now you're talking. Now I think it'll be easier for us to get out there and actually say, I'm a doula in private practice. But don't rush it. Don't rush it, guys. Start slow, baby step, baby step. I think there's been a pressure on, I'm sorry if I've been a part of that pressure. Don't want to be a part of that pressure. That's what's giving me this encouragement in my own spirit as I'm listening to people out there in the different communities. I want to be part of relieving the pressure, not just from the family, but from you. And I want hospice to understand that when they're talking to another doula, when they're talking to one of these doulas, who are they? That you know what I'm saying now, and you will relieve them, and you will help bring the hospice's anxiety down. And you say, I'm here to reinforce what you're doing. I love what you're doing. You are the masters in palliative care. You are the masters and the leaders in end of life dying. There's nobody that can help somebody die better than hospice. Maybe there's a person here and there in the world that is great at it. They don't belong to hospice. They have some crazy holistic or energetic healing properties, and they can do it too. But you know what? It's not systematized where all of us can access, and we all talk about access on healthcare. Hospice in this country, in the USA, can be accessed by everyone. Now, you have to be 65 and older for Medicare to pay for it. And there's hospice and there's insurance policies that will come in and help pay for it. And there's public funds in some hospices to help people with no money and who are under 65. But there is hospice is available in this country. And they are the masters in helping people die, and let them know that you know that. And you in no way want to interfere with that. You want to be helpful in that process. You want to bring people to them sooner who might be afraid to come. They need to know that you're out there in the community and people are talking to you, and you understand that there's a lot of dying happening before a person will ever be invited to come to hospice by a physician or anybody else. And it could be the physician doesn't refer early. It could be the family doesn't want to hear it. But you're out there now, aware of these things, and you can come. And you tell them, I will bring them to you as soon as I can, because I believe in the work you're doing, and I want them to have the maximum benefits that they can have as they're dying, the maximum support. And I want to be there helping to support them practically and emotionally along the way. And I can reinforce whatever you're doing. And I understand, another thing, I understand. And I have the permission, so you get this permission from your families, that I can talk to the RN case manager and relay whatever's going on that I see. Just drop her a voicemail. You don't need to talk to her every time. They don't want to hear from you all the time because they know what they're doing. But you can say, I understand that there's a way I can drop a little voicemail and give her a heads up on anything that I see. Sealed. There you go. I've just hand delivered you how to talk to hospice. Sealed with a bow, right? I want this easy for us. And I'm sorry that I haven't talked enough about this hospice doula connection. So some of you are aware that there is that NPEC training that Suzanne, Patty, and I did for this doula healthcare connection. And I do a lot of healthcare training in my program. So I know that a lot of programs don't. So I was very excited to be part of this NPEC training with Suzanne and Patty, because now it's not just my 2 cents about healthcare. There's 2 other people with 2 other angles. And so all 3 of us putting in all our thing about healthcare, it's a pretty powerful package. And I feel that I might have dropped the ball in my private work, not sharing enough. So I'm going to be talking more about the hospice doula connection, ways to inform your hospice about you. I'm going to give, I'm going to listen, I'm just going to bring more around that so we can build our confidence in that area, because I'm hearing from people and seeing in groups around that hospices are not warming up to you sometimes. Some are and some aren't. So have a beautiful day, guys. There's a lot in this video to unpack. I should probably make it 3 or 4 of them, but I can't help it. I'm excited to be with you. I'm excited to be part of this movement. It's an honor to be part of the Dying Well movement. It is, isn't it? It's like, and anything we can do, anything I can do to help relieve the burden on you, the doula. And I will. I'm going to be more mindful of that, because I was not aware of all the pressure that I see a lot of doulas are having. And that pressure, where that pressure is coming from, what I'm seeing, it's because your experience isn't matching the expectation that you think of yourself supposed to be doing. And some programs are out there saying you should be doing that. And I'm going to make sure that mine doesn't do that. I don't want to add problem. I want to relieve problem. Relieve the person who's dying and suffering, who's suffering and they're dying. Not everybody's suffering and they're dying. And a lot of families know exactly what to do. They're fine. It's the ones that don't that we're here for. And the ones that are suffering that we're here for. And the doulas, it's such a conscientious person that's called to do this. I really get why this new level of pressure is on, because we are conscientious people and we want to do the right thing. And we know this is a very important sacred time. And we know all that. And there's a lot of gray area about how to support the best. Excuse me. So it's understandable why there is a new kind of resistance to getting out in our communities, doing what we know we're good at. Because now it's not just getting out anymore and doing that thing that I know I'm good at. I've got all this new level of pressure on me now. And oh my God, I can't do that. I can't do that. So I can't go out. I call bullshit. BS on that. Let this go. And you come out the way you were coming out a couple years ago, leading with your heart and being there to hold love and to help them. You receive the dumping they need to do. Okay. Love y'all. Take care. Let me know what you're thinking and I'll read it and answer. Okay. Bye-bye, y'all.